One of my favorite things to do is discover new products. Absolutely love it. Another favorite activity of mine is sharing those new products and services with you. And that is what we're going to do today. Come with me for a minute. I want to talk to you. I just want to say one word to you. Just one word. Are you listening? There's a great future in plastics. Think about it. Will you think about it? Enough said. That's a deal. Okay, for those of you who think I have absolutely lost my mind, you're obviously not fans of The Graduate. But it rings true now, as it did in 1967. What's old is new again. And you're going to hear all about that today through my conversation with Dr. William Schavovsky, founder of the Good Plastics Company. I believe the design industry is exposed to more new products and ideas now than ever before in an ongoing effort to address the issues clients desperately want solved. This includes climate change, stability, sustainability, lower costs, improved performance, and renewables. All of these subjects are going to be addressed over the next hour during my conversation with William Schavovsky of the Good Plastics Company and their new product line, Polygood. Have you seen it yet? It's amazing. If you haven't, check the show notes for a link. It's very, very cool, and you're going to hear all about it right after this. I am just incredibly proud of this partnership I've got with Thermosol. They have been presenting partners of Convo by Design going on 5 years now. And there is a certain amount of pride that comes with saying that the show is presented by the company that is the best in the world at what they do. Thermosol engineers the most exceptional smart shower products and steam shower systems worldwide, full stop. And it's for a few reasons. First of all, they were the first company to design and patent the technology here in the United States, dating back to 1958. Thermosol, a U.S.-based manufacturer based in Round Rock, Texas, employs an engineering team that designs, tests, and continuously refines the product. Their quality control team tests every single steam generator before it departs the factory. Who else does that? Nobody that I know of. I have the pleasure of working with some world-class designers and architects who tell me, and if you're in the business, you know this, that the idea of luxury has changed, especially when clients want a spa-like bathroom. Steam is mandatory, or it's just not considered a luxury. And if you want to add steam, you have only one true option, my opinion, and that's Thermosol. Mitch Altman, third generation CEO of this family-owned company of 65 years, continues to innovate in the bathroom and shower space through technological marvels such as intelligent showering systems, sound therapy, aromatherapy, technical interfaces, and so much more. And now Thermosol, the industry leader in steam bath equipment and technology since 1958, as I mentioned, is enhancing its already stellar family of products with the new indoor and outdoor luxury saunas available in 3 designs. The configurations are absolutely amazing, and you should probably go check them out. Indoor and outdoor options. It's amazing. You really do need to check them out. Go to thermosol.com or at Thermosol on the socials. So, William, it's interesting because oftentimes I get a lot of emails. Publicists are some of my best friends, and I love when companies use really great publicists and publicity firms, because I'll get an email about a product and I read everything I get. I don't follow up on everything. Sometimes, usually I'll say no thank you because it's a courteous thing to do. But when I got the email about the Good Plastics Company and the product that you have, my mind started spinning a little bit. And the first thing I said is, you know what, send me some samples because I'm interested. they sent the samples, and we're going to get that into a minute. But rarely do I see a product that can be a game changer the way that yours appears to be. So I definitely wanted to know more about it. So will you do me a favor? I want to just back up a second. Give me your background, how you wound up with the company, and then I want to get into the product a little bit.
As I said, the idea was to build a scalable project which can, like our goal is to make our material as a new normal for architecture and design, and to substitute non-sustainable materials. So this is probably what we're gonna do.
What's your background? How did you find your way to the company?
Yeah, so as I said, we I have a managerial background. I used to study at Harvard University from in the management faculty. I also have a PhD in economics, and so like my background mainly related to business and management. I do not have background in architecture and design, but the idea was to use my business background in order to build scalable solution.
So how did you, is the company, okay, so is the company yours, or were you hired by the company?
No, I'm founder of the company.
Okay.
And company, I'm the largest shareholder of the company.
Okay. So, it's really interesting because for years in the design and architecture industry, sustainable design, repurposing, reusing has been a question, has been like a goal, a desire. But it's taken a lot longer than I think some people realize, because and especially when it comes to plastics, because I'm a native Angelino, born and raised in Los Angeles. I'm a surfer. And one of the most frustrating things, I could be out on the water and a beautiful morning, 6 a.m., chilly. I'm watching the dolphins, a pod of dolphins will swim by, and then you'll just have a patch of trash. And it's inevitably, it's always plastic. It's always plastic. Plastic and styrofoam are just everywhere. And you see it firsthand. You see it, it's ubiquitous. You see it everywhere. That's one of the things that I think people looked at and said, if we could figure out a solve for this particular product and turn it into something else so that it has a circular lifestyle, it would be a great thing. It appears that you guys have done that. You use a specific type of product. And I think for those listening, that smooth finish inside a refrigerator or a freezer, that's the product, but it's a specific type of plastic that you're using, correct?
Correct. So, correct. We use polystyrene. Usually polystyrene used indeed for like long-lasting products, like refrigerator, like household electronics, computers sometimes. But also it can be used for packaging, like, for example, coffee cups or some single-use cutlery or even children toys. But mainly something which should have a long life as a refrigerator. So it's not a plastic bags which you're gonna throw next day. So it's something with a longer life. And we use it. So like technically, machinery which we developed and technology which we developed can work with different type of plastic. We can work with polyethylene, polypropylene, polystyrol, ABS, and so on. But for architectural and design application, product should have also high quality, because like other plastics cannot achieve as high quality as we have with polystyrene. So that's why we use polystyrene.
And specifically, you're using the polystyrene for upcycling purposes. So I think what's interesting is, when people think, I have conversations with creatives, designers, architects, the main concern is in the quality of the product. Because if you get different types of plastics put together, you can get, I'm a woodworker and I'm a wood turner. And for me, when I'm turning wood, sometimes you'll hit a soft spot in a piece of wood. It's punky, right? So when you hit that soft spot, the composition changes. And I think that that's the same concern with plastics. You can get a softer variety of plastic within a harder variety, and it's not consistent throughout. Because you're using the same type of plastic, it's consistent throughout.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're perfectly right. So it's about consistency, because like HDP or LDP or polypropylene, they are soft plastics. So if you will make a tabletops out of this plastic, very soon it start to be bended. So it's not too good. Of course, you can use it using some wooden support or metal support, but in this case, it's more about decoration. We do not want to make like some additional layer of material. We would like substitute one material by another material, and those materials which we would like substitute are non-sustainable, like for example solid surface material, which is composite of like acrylic and glue and other stuff. So, and secondly, as we use only one type of plastic, it make product 100% recyclable. Because if you will mix different plastic, it's hard to decompose it, at least on a mechanical level. If you will do like chemical recycling, it can be possible, but it's very complicated. In our case, you can use standard mechanical recycling because we just have one type of plastic in our material, in our product.
What I think is so interesting too is because it's recyclable, if you think about it and you're looking at the circularity of the materials and the materiality of it, you can theoretically take this product, fabricate furniture, cabinetry, doors, case goods. And look, let's be honest, everything has a lifespan. And in design as well, maybe you're looking at an interior design lifespan of 10, 15, 20 years. You can use this material to turn into a product. And when it's finished, instead of putting it in a landfill, it's 100% recyclable again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say it's not like theoretically, it's practically already, because we have take back program. We built this program in Europe, and we now building this program also in US. So for example, when our clients have some cutoffs, for example, during the production, or they have any other production waste, or when they want to renovate office or retail or store where they already use material for their end product, we just take it back, shred it again, and melt in new panels. This is what we already do, and this is like what possible to do. So either we can take this plastic reshredder and reproduce, or they can bring it to like any standard recycling factory who work with polystyrene, because they already collect this polystyrene, so they will just take pure polystyrene, process it, and to remelt. So this is how it works. So our goal is to take the plastic from landfills, not in order to put it back to landfill with the time, but take it for future, I hope. So this is what we want. And also, I think it's worth to say that we are working mainly with post-consumer plastic waste, because like a lot of companies who claiming that they have recycled content, I would say 99% of those cases are it's their own production waste. So it is like post-industrial plastic waste or their production waste. It's not from landfill. In our case, our technology allowed us to take plastic from landfill. So like we don't take it directly. So recycling factories who supply material for us, they take it from landfill, and we creating demand for them because they take it, shred it, clean it, separate it, and then they have to do something with it. So we buy this plastic, and then we produce panels, and then architects and designers buy those panels. So we are kind of like closing the gap between supply of plastics from recycling factory side and demand for sustainable materials from A&D community.
When you envision originally, when you envisioned the product and the idea, by the way, just out of curiosity, where did this idea come from?
Yeah. So actually, it was like few sources of ideas, because it was like a couple of touch points. One touch point was like also like because of ocean pollution. I was with my family, with my wife, in on vacation, and it was like in Europe, in the Mediterranean Sea, and it was also like it was in Spain, and it also like part of the sea was quite polluted by plastic. And my wife said that like you should do something with this, and I said yes, but probably I hardly imagine how to build business out of it. I think it's government have to do, because it's kind of like NGO, non-profit organization, and I think government should solve this problem. But I think it was kind of beginning. Later, it was also like in 2017, when I finished Harvard University, Mark Zuckerberg gave a lecture to us about purpose. And like the idea of this lecture was about like purpose and impact. He said that for of course, like you be successful people as you studied at Harvard and so on, but it would be great if you will choose something which make impact not only for you but also for society, for planet, for. And I thought, like, why not? It's kind of win-win solution. So of course, like still as a business we're gonna earn money, but what if in parallel we will also do something good for environment, for planet, for people? And it was another kind of like touch point where I thought, okay, probably with like next at the time I used to work as a like in a large IT company, so it was like totally I still was in the management. I was responsible for strategic transformation, but I thought that probably I should quit and start my own business, and it should be about impact. And yes, this is how idea burned.
Okay, so backing up a second, and here's one of the things that I find really interesting. So you have an economics degree from Harvard, correct?
From Harvard, I have managerial degree, and
Okay.
economics I got in like originally I'm from Ukraine, so PhD I got in Ukrainian university, Ukrainian Economic University.
Sorry, I kind of took a sidestep there. My point was you have an economics degree.
Yes, yes.
So as an economics major, you have to look at this product and say, you may have the passion behind it, but at the same time, you have an economics background where you know that when you start a company, it's not just for the good of the planet, but you actually have to make money at this, because that's the nature of a business.
Absolutely.
So when you're ideating this business and you start sussing it out and putting the business plan together, who was your primary client for this? What did you imagine was the potential of the business? To whom are you selling, and what did you imagine this was going to be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my idea was to sell it to companies who also like create some plastic waste or some other waste, and those companies probably need to find solution what to do with their waste. Like, for example, one of our largest adopter of our technology, and I think it's really great story for us. It's helped us a lot. I think without this company, we wouldn't be like survive. So it was Nike. Because like initially, like one of like at the beginning of our company, we tried to produce panels out of Nike waste. It wasn't plastic; it was polyurethane, but it was R&D project, and our R&D team was working on it. So we took Nike grind, Nike waste, and then we produced panels out of it. It's a bit different product, so it's more like a rubber, but still it's close to technology what we use as of now. So that's why, like, I thought that if we will take waste from large corporate, probably it is going to be in demand, because all those companies are really looking for solution what to do with their waste. And it was kind of like, again, they were looking for some startups who can find solution, and we were looking for some companies who can buy it. And then like it was kind of match. Yeah. But in general, maybe sorry, just in general, maybe like coming back to your question, as a person with economic degree, what I was thinking that in order sustainability, actually, it's quite complicated stuff because it doesn't work in scale, I believe. So that's why a lot of small startups could try and also to do something in a sustainability world. It's for them it's very hard to survive just because they are not they're not doing their product in scale. So in order to make impact, it has to be scalable solution, and you have to build this solution in scale. Otherwise, otherwise it would be too expensive, and it's not going to be widely used.
So let's talk about the materiality for a moment and the performative value of the material. So what can you do with this?
Mm-hmm. So as it is surface material, you can use it for horizontal and vertical surfaces. So there are a lot of applications where you can use this material. There are furniture. So probably it's more than 50% of our application are furniture. It can be countertops. It can be some residential furniture, commercial furniture. It can be shelves. It can be cabinets, kitchens even. So this is the first applications. Second application is walls. So you can use it as a wall cladding. You can use it as a flooring. We do have some project with the flooring. You even able to use it as a outdoor furniture, and we even have a project as a facade. There are still some limitations for facades, for example, because usually facades projects require very high fire rating of the material. Plastic burned by nature, but we developed technology where we can apply fire protection coating, which improves the fire resistance for the material. So that's why it can be also used. But I think in majority cases, it's either furniture or walls.
You are listening to my conversation with the Good Plastics Company founder, Dr. William Shevosky, and we'll be right back. The absolute best specifying designers, architects, and landscape designers are all highly focused on the technology and performance of products and materials today. You just have to be. And you have to because the products you specify for your projects have to perform and they have to last. That is one of the reasons why I am so incredibly proud to be working with TimberTech. Their focus on the technical renaissance of synthetic decking is literally changing the conversation about innovation and performance. It pulls focus on three priorities homeowners have and expect from the products their designers and architects specify for their luxury projects. 1, the aesthetics must match the overall design and fit visually. 2, durability and maintenance. I've told you my board flipping stories about my own wood decks over the years. Clients not only want beauty, but they want ease of use and they want it to last for decades. 3, sustainably made. Clients are more conscious about the environment and they want the same of their materials and the companies that manufacture their materials. TimberTech hits each one of these elements with a product that not only meets expectations, they exceed them. TimberTech makes a synthetic decking that looks just like wood. Color and embossed wood grain for a natural appearance. Their composite decking is technologically superior. It's been created to last for decades, and it's manufactured with up to 85% recycled materials. 85% recycled materials. Their advanced PVC vintage and landmark collections have a Class A flame spread rating, making these products an amazing choice for wildfire-prone areas, which unfortunately continues to grow on the risk map. Check the show notes for more information about this and to find the nearest showroom or lumberyard where you can find TimberTech. You can also check them out directly, timbertech.com. As a busy professional designer, you know how important it is to find the right partnerships. Partnerships that allow you to specify the right products for every project. Professionals like you don't just have time to sit around and waste, right? So let me tell you about one of my partnerships. Pacific Sales is here to serve you with expert, knowledgeable, and non-commissioned professionals to help you specify the right product for all your projects. Non-commissioned. That means their only incentive is your satisfaction. Pacific Sales Kitchen and Home, a Best Buy company, has just that, with over 60 years of service in Southern California. Pacific Sales is your destination for exploration, advice, and inspiration. And you will find all your favorite brands, like Monogram, and their commitment to providing exceptional products, starting with materials. Monogram sources commercial-grade stainless steel on their refrigerators, unscratchable sapphire glass on their cooktop knobs, durable marine-grade bearings on their dishwasher racks. Monogram takes inspiration from the leading-edge materials used in the high-end automotive and aeronautics industry to provide you with lasting beauty and exceptional quality. The beauty is backed by the same level of attention to performance, which is why Monogram appliances are trusted and sought after by chefs all over the country. Chain-driven French oven doors that can be opened with one hand, and an industry-exclusive hearth oven that allows for all-electric indoor brick oven-style cooking without the need for external ventilation. These are just a few of the things that make Monogram so special. Pacific Sales features Monogram appliances, and Pacific Sales Kitchen and Home team is here to help you and offer their Pro Rewards program, which is a trade program unlike any you have experienced before. And here's the cherry on top: access. Access to exclusive builder trade incentives from top brands like Monogram. Visit a Pacific Sales showroom today to learn how you can unlock additional savings and benefits. Don't miss out on the opportunity to work with the best of the best. Visit Pacific Sales Kitchen and Home today and elevate your projects to new heights. Pacific Sales Kitchen and Home, where excellence meets expertise. It's funny too, because you haven't even scratched the surface on what you can use your product for, which I think is absolutely amazing. You know, one of the things that comes to mind, and it's funny too, William, because when I told you I requested samples, and when the samples got here, it was fun for me to open your sample kit and to start looking through, and the names of the products. And for example, I speak with designers all the time for the show, and there are certain things that are happening, like wet bars are coming back into they're becoming popular again, and they're shelving, open shelving in kitchens, glass front or glass shelving in front of windows in kitchens. There's a lot of that's taking place now. From a shelving standpoint, just for example, the beauty of the product is amazing. And I think that there's probably a fair amount of strength to it as well. Talk to me about the performative value and the strength and the fire rating.
Yeah, so material is like, of course, we do a lot of testing, not only data sheets, which measuring how strong is it, and this is like polystyrene, one of the strongest type of plastic. Again, this is the reason why we choose specifically this type of plastic, because it's very strong. Yeah, we even have video when our head of production, who is bodybuilder, and he's quite heavy and large, so he's just jumping in a thin span of what we have, and it's not broken. So it's hard, but of course, like, we have all data to measure this. In terms of fire rating, indeed, like, we also have fire rating using this fire protection coating for the material. Now we recently got fire rating for US standards, because before we use European standards and French standards. Now, as we are entering US market, we're also receiving US fire standards in US laboratories. What else? Like, we have certification which confirms that this material good for interaction with the food, as we have a lot of application for restaurants, even large chains of restaurants. Also, we have the highest rating about harmfulness of the material. I mean, in positive case, highest rating. So we have VOC A+ rating, which confirms that this material is not toxic, not dangerous. It doesn't create cancer and other diseases. So this is we also have. And finally, we got cradle-to-cradle certification, which was probably one of the most important for us, but it's more like in a sustainability standpoint, which like cradle-to-cradle confirms that it is 100% recycled, circular. They also made material health assessment. We made hundreds of different tests to prove that it's healthy. And finally, we have EPD certification. EPD is about CO2 emission. And CO2 emission of our material usually like 5-10 times better than alternatives which we're gonna substitute, like again, or like virgin plastic, like solid surface material, because it's 100% recycled. So that's why CO2 emission is pretty low.
So could you use this as a countertop?
Yes, of course, it's probably one of top our applications.
Could you use it as a kitchen countertop?
Yes, but I would say like with one comment. So it's possible, but if you will put something super hot on it, I mean not a boiled water, but for example, if you cooked something and if you will put right after fire some hot pan, then it leaves a mark. So, but it's typical for many other countertops for kitchen. So that's why. But yeah, this is like not recommended to do. But in general, yes, it's possible. Also, it's possible to use for wet areas, because plastic by nature is 100% waterproof, so it's good for bathrooms, showers, toilet partitions, and other applications related to wet zones.
So, and also because it's plastic, it's non-porous.
Yes, exactly.
So you could use this as a kitchen, as a bathroom countertop. It's fun for me to think about the applications for something like this, because it kind of checks off all of the boxes. You know, when you talk to designers, clients are more conscious about using sustainable materials, and I think the circularity and sustainability in design and architecture is something that has been an unanswered question for a long time. And it's not going to happen in just one product, but it's when people start to advance the nature of what materials can do. So talk to me about the supply chain and your sales efforts. So you're a European company. Your factories are in Europe still?
Yes.
Are you manufacturing in the States, or do you plan on manufacturing in the States anytime soon?
So as of now, we have 2 factories in Europe, and still our major markets are the UK, France, Netherlands. I'm based in the Netherlands, Spain. We also have a distributor in Middle East, which covers like Middle East countries. We have distributor in Japan, and from the beginning of this year, we are entering US market. We already have team in US. We have a president North America in New York, Diane Bart, and we already have 10 independent sales rep groups in US who sell our material in different states in US, and we have a warehouse in High Point, North Carolina, where we shipped our material. So our material is distributed from North Carolina. But initial goal, like, and not initial, but like next step goal for us is to build factory in US, because I believe that very soon North America will become our major market. As of now, we have already like huge amount of requests. We like our material is on a material bank in US, so we have a lot of requests, and we already specified to many projects, and as soon as we will build enough revenue in order to cover cost for US production, we will start building US factory. And I think it's going to be our largest factory in US, and we will use local plastic waste from US. As of now, our plastic goes from Europe. We are partnering with a large recycling factories in Europe, mainly in the Netherlands, France, Germany, UK, and now those panels are shipped by containers to US, but soon we will build factory in US.
how do you? This is not just for your product, but I'm curious how a European company addresses entering the U.S. market because it's so challenging. What I think a lot of Europeans don't understand about the U.S. is when you think of the United States, you think it's one country, and technically that is true. But the U.S. is, I mean, geographically, when you look at us, it's not just one country. It's 50 states. It's within those 50 states, you have individual markets. Every market is different. Tastes and sensibilities in New York or LA are very different in Tulsa, Oklahoma, St. Louis, Missouri, or Chicago. They're just, Texas is very different than Colorado. It's every market is different. And then when you think about trying to enter a market and have a supply chain, if you've got a warehouse in High Point, delivering to Seattle, San Francisco, delivering to the West Coast is cost prohibitive. It's very, very challenging. So as you look at entering the U.S. market, and by the way, I think the U.S. market will absolutely eat this product up because of it's incredibly functional, and it's from a design standpoint. There's so much you can do with it. How do you think about entering the market, and how do you approach that, and how do you address it? And specifically, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but and also, you're a sustainably conscious company, and then you have to think about, well, if I'm delivering a product, if I'm shipping it 3,000 miles or 4,000 miles, am I really that sustainable? How do you approach that?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, really great question. So probably I'll start from the beginning. Indeed, U.S. market is quite difficult as it is new market. Definitely, it's huge market. It's like very different from state to state, but like we have some kind of like check boxes which help us. First of all, I used to studied 5 years in the US, so I know a little bit culture, at least in Boston, in New England. So secondly, we already developed product in Europe, so we already have something to propose. We already have more than thousands projects in Europe and Asia, so we are not newcomers. We already have certification, so it was easier. So we came with already developed product, and a lot of our clients, they are global brands, again, like Nike, Adidas, McDonald's, Coach, and so on, Samsung. So it was also easier a bit. And finally, it was really like important, and I would say even like game changer, to have our US team who are very deeply understand the industry. So Diane, who is our president, she has maybe like 40 years of industry background. She probably one of the like most well-known person in a community, at least in New York, and she helped us to build a network of sales reps in US. So now we have sales reps in New York, in Boston, in Florida, in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, and so on. So it's really like it's really helped, and we built it just for 6 months. So it was super fast. And our goal is grow very fast because we really want to make impact as fast as possible. So that's why it's still complicated, but I think we are working with the right people. And probably like another reason like why it goes well, because our product is about positive changes, about positive impact, and people love work in our company. And like people with like good intention, people with also like motivation to change something to better, they work with us. So and everything goes on in the positive. We are not selling something which is highly competitive or something useless or something which make world worse. So opposites. This is something about like positive impact. That's why I think it's very helpful.
You had mentioned the companies that you're working with, and you, in checking out the projects that you have completed, you have a great deal of retail and hospitality. Is this a residential product as well?
Yes, like we do have some residential projects. I would say it's much less than commercial projects because it's again what I see now for US also has a lot of like large residential project, and we have a lot of requests for residential project as well. In Europe, we have much more commercial projects. Again, like retail, hospitality, and so on, office spaces. But in US, I expect that soon we will have more residential projects. As of now, I think it's less than 10% of our projects are residential.
And is that how you like it? I guess what I'm asking is, do you envision this to be commercial and residential, or do you primarily envision this as a commercial product?
No, I wouldn't say that it's like a only commercial project. I think it can be both commercial and residential project. Only like we are working with B2B, and we are working usually with large companies, so we cannot sell it's like one by one sheet. So usually we sell in a larger volumes because we produce in a large volume. As of now, we are the largest producer of such material. Not because we are large, like we have 80 people in our team as of now, but we still like quite small, relatively small. But it's very new, very emerging market and emerging project. But it's easier to work with commercial project just because it's scale project, decision making goes faster, they have resources and so on. So residential, if it's residential, but if like some company want to build large condominium and then they want to use it for tabletops or bathroom, it's fine. If private people will call us saying that we need one table, I'm afraid our business model is built to serve another type of clients.
Well, and that's kind of where I was going with this. I was wondering, I think too, you put this product in the hands of American workrooms and fabricators and artisans and creatives. You'll get things that you never expected before, which I think is really interesting. But it also begs the question: how do you educate? It's one thing to come out with a revolutionary product. It's another thing to spread the word and not just get the word out, but also to educate, which is why we're having this conversation, and I'm thankful for it, and I think it's great. But on a larger scale, you mentioned you have sales teams in New York and LA and other cities. How do you spread the word? How do you educate? Is it a series of events and CEUs? Is it content and media? What's your plan for the education process? Not just the promotion, but the education.
Yeah, I think, like, frankly speaking, this is the most difficult part because on the one hand, people usually, I would say, in majority of cases, are fascinated about the product. On the other hand, by nature, people don't want to change their like standard patterns of behavior, and they don't want to risk with something new, especially if we are talking about fabricators. Designers, architects, they're creative people. They like progress. They like to do something new. But when it goes to fabrication side, usually profile of those people are much more conservative. And this is one of the hardest part of our business, is to educate people, to explain that this material good not only because of its story or its impact, but it's also good in terms of performance, in terms of like workability. Like it's good substitution also in this regard. And like what we are doing, we do have training programs for fabricator. We have a special team who teach how to work with the material. Actually, it's not so hard. So you do not need any special equipment. You can use just standard CNC machine in order to cut this material. You can polish this material. You can glue this material. screw and so on. So it's relatively easy to work with, but we have to explain, and we have to work with this with these risks which people consider using our material and saying that it's not a risk actually. So we have workability guide which very detailed explained again how to work with the material. In parallel, we participate in different trade shows, different exhibitions, but it's more about promotion probably than about education. Uh, what else? Yeah, I think of course, like we do some lunch and learn session with architectural firms again to explain what is it, but it takes time. It takes time, unfortunately, because still people are averse to risk, and they quite often afraid about something new. But it's really like, as I said, it's most complicated part because it's in order to make impact, it's critical to get buy-in from R&D community. If those people not gonna put us into their specifications, then nothing gonna happen because like we can produce much more as we developed our machinery. We can usually easily produce another machines and another production lines, but who needs this if we do not have enough demand for our material? And the same with the recycling factory. So some people think, okay, we should recycle more, but it's not really correct understanding. Those recycling factories, they can recycle much more, like I don't know, tens or hundreds times more, but they need demand, they need who will buy this material. So that's why most critical is not recycle more. Most critical is to implement product which will be made out of recycled material. This is probably and like we are trying to do something on this regard by promoting and educating people, but still without R&D support, I don't see any chance to solve the problem.
Yeah, so the education is the biggest challenge, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you scale, and how do you go from education to specification in the minds of, I mean, look, I think I honestly I would not have you on the show if I would not be saying these wonderful things about your product. You didn't pay for this. This is not I don't charge for my interviews, right? So the people that I have on the show are people that I really want to talk to. And I'm just fascinated by a couple of things with regard to the product. You know, as I'm looking at this, and by the way, this is an audio podcast, so you can hear me messing around with it, but you can't see what I'm holding. But what I want you to do is, if you're listening and you want to see the product, go to the show notes and click on the link for the Good Plastic Company, and it'll take you to their website. And I'll be producing a couple of Instagram posts for this just to showcase this. And I'm sharing this because in talking to designers and architects, there are, over the last 11 years, you know, there are a lot of challenges that need to be solved. And I think that it's not just what the creative mind of an architect or a designer can do, but you have to have products that fit that. And there's a lot of them, but there aren't many. I don't know of any actually that do what you do. And I think that that's really special because of both the aesthetics of it and the performative value. So I think it's important, but it also begs the question. It's a challenge. These days it's very hard to get designers and architects to specify something different because they have to then go and sell it to their clients for the projects and explain why this product is better or more suitable than something else. Then cost comes into play, and then supply chain and time for delivery. And then if it's a new product, there's a challenge with fabricators and fabricating it into what the end product is. How do you get from education to specification?
Mm-hmm. So we work with the professional people and professional companies. When we work with distributors, usually it is large distributors of surface materials. So they already built a network of architects and designers whom they propose surface materials. But before, they work with non-sustainable materials, and now they facing the problems that architects and designers asking them about some sustainable alternative of their current materials, and they do not have something to propose. So they are losing part of clients, and they want to propose them some solution. So in our case, the fastest way to grow is just to substitute non-sustainable product using fabricators and distributors who already have network. And probably like this is key what we are trying to do. And like in general, our business is like, so we are not like enthusiasts or like dreamers or romantics. Of course we are dreaming to make impact, but our all like management team, we have business background, we understand how business works, we understand how to develop market, we understand how to make right marketing communication. We are working with PR companies who also helping us to work with top media. So that's why, yeah, I would think like it's not only about idea, but it's also about implementation. And I think our team and our like partners, they know how to implement this idea.
So a couple of materiality questions too, as far as weight of the product. Mm-hmm. If you were to compare weight to wood or tile or other extrusion materials, how would this compare?
Yeah, usually it's much lighter, especially comparing to tile or solid surface material or stone, of course, which makes it much easier to use for example, for wall cladding. You do not need like very massive structure, massive support to keep it. So it's much lighter. So I can again, as still like I'm in Europe, I can say that like 1 square meter is around 10 kilograms if you are talking about half inch or like 12 millimeters sheet. So sorry, I'm still learning. I cannot transform it to pounds and so on, but I can use like European metric system. But it's light. It's light.
And then the other question is, so when you have something like a pure gray, I would imagine that the pure gray is a fairly, I don't want to say anything's easy, but maybe it's simple. The coloring, when I'm looking at coral reef, which by the way, between coral reef and the black lollipop, I think those are my two favorites. But with coral reef, if someone wanted to use this, for example, as a backsplash material, backlit backsplash, how do you achieve symmetry, or how do you achieve consistency? So you'll have, how do they ship? In what size are the sheets?
Yeah, it ships in 4.5 by 9.2 feet, which is 55 by 110 inches sheet, so which is quite large size of the sheet. And like in terms of consistency, yeah, like we have equipment which quite automated, and actually our equipment is it's sophisticated equipment, so it's not like some like simple presses which just like press and hit plastic. We have a lot of automation there, and we also have we are even like I can even consider us as a data-driven company, because when we work with different waste streams, we are trying to collect data in order to understand what is the best melting point for this raw material, what is the best pressure, what is the like temperature, timing, so many different parameters, and we develop a recipe for each waste stream. So this is what we are doing, and this is what we are patenting actually now. And yeah, if we cannot achieve consistency of the material, it would be very hard to work with the large clients. So if you like, for example, if our clients specify us for many, like if it's a hotel chains company or if it's a retail chain, uh, it has to be like everywhere the same, regardless of whether they like build hotel or restaurant or store, I don't know, in Japan or in San Francisco or in London. So it has to be the same. And this is also quite challenging for sustainable material or recycled material. But with our technology and with our waste streams, which is fairly large, as we are working with large recycling factories, we can achieve.
So, okay. So, and that's great. So last question I have for you is, what is your current distribution? So do you work with retail? Do you work with showrooms, or are you working with distributors?
So we have both. We are working with the showrooms. Our sales representatives have showrooms. For example, in New York, we have a sales rep with a showroom. We have a showroom across Europe, in the Netherlands, in the UK, in France, and so on. In Spain, Italy. We also have showrooms in Middle East, but we also have warehouses. Not only like in US, it is High Point, but soon I expect few more large warehouses in US, because we like indeed we have to serve different part of US. US is large, so we, like one should be for West Coast, one for East Coast, probably like for Canada as well, as a North American. And yeah, so like in Europe we have a lot of warehouses with our distributors, and material is available on stock.
I love it. I love it. Okay. And again, if you're listening and you want to learn more about the Good Plastic Company, which I encourage you to do, go to the show notes and you will find a link to the website. William, thank you. This was fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, it was really great to talk to you.
Design Hardware's newly remodeled showroom is where you will find a gallery-style space with a thoughtful display of products, purposefully positioned to allow unbridled exploration and discovery. High-end faucets, luxury tile, natural stone, wood floors, and bespoke hardware selections are presented in a holistic manner, strategically arranged to stimulate creativity and transition your vision from the conceptual stage to a fully realized space. Conveniently located, free parking available. Stop by to find your inspiration, collect samples, get expert advice, and tackle everything on your shopping list all in one place. Visit them online at designhardware.com or in the real world, 6053 West 3rd Street in Los Angeles.
As we enter a new year, it's an opportunity for exploration and discovery of the new products coming to market. I will be speaking at KBIS this year, and I cannot tell you how excited I am about that. If you will be in Las Vegas for the show this year, please drop me a note. I'm looking forward to speaking with you, and I'm looking for designers and architects to walk the show and report back with some of their favorite finds. Thank you, William, for coming on the show today. Thank you to my incredible partner sponsors, Thermosol, Design Hardware, Pacific Sales, Monogram, and TimberTech. Thank you for your support for the show and the industry as a whole. We are a stronger industry because of partners like you. And of course, thank you for listening to the podcast, subscribing to the show, and sharing it with your friends and colleagues. Please keep the show and guest suggestions coming. I do appreciate them, and I do my best to respond to every one. Convo by Design at outlook.com, and on Instagram, Convo by Design with an X. Thanks again for listening. Happy New Year. Make this the year you've been hoping it would be. Until the next episode, stay focused and above the chaos.